In Creo Parametric, we introduce another significant time-saving feature called Freestyle, which helps create freeform designs easily and quickly. In Freestyle, we start with a primitive shape, in this case using a sphere. Using the control mesh, we can select vertices, edges, or faces to manipulate the entire shape. In this case, we are going to extrude the faces of the shape using the commands available under the right mouse button. We can also extrude using the middle mouse button to copy the last command. The draggers used in Freestyle are consistent throughout the product, and using shortcuts such as holding the Alt key, we can also extrude faces easily. Using the Control key, we can select multiple areas on the control mesh and apply commands. Using the draggers, we can move or rotate the mesh as well. Selecting two faces, we can use the Connect command to build the handle for our watering can. And using the draggers, we can make the overall handle thinner as well. In Pro Engineer Wildfire, we would have created individual curves and then blended surfaces between them, having to manually control the connections and tangency as well as between those surfaces. Creating this type of geometry in Pro Engineer Wildfire is very time-consuming, and during this comparison, we'll show the key stages of creating a similar shape, but not every step, as it would simply take too long. With Pro Engineer, creating and editing these shapes would also be difficult. Back in Creo Parametric, we're going to create the neck of the watering can. We can add geometry and then use the Split command to add finer control on the way. Since we're designing a product that's symmetrical, we can use the Mirror command. After selecting the mirror plane, half of the control mesh disappears. Any change that we make along the neck is mirrored to ensure a symmetric part. It's also possible to locally break mirror dependency. Again, making changes like this in Pro Engineer Wildfire would have required a specific design methodology and having to manually select those curves and edit the surfaces individually. Once we're satisfied, we can also simply select and delete a patch of the surface to make an opening. Again, as we drag half the control mesh, you'll see that the part stays symmetrical. On the bottom of the part, we can manipulate the geometry, but we probably want to make sure that we create a flat surface. We can use the Planarize command and select a plane to orient the control mesh to be parallel to. With Pro Engineer Wildfire, we would have had to design the intent up front in our curves and surfaces to make these types of changes. With Freestyle, when we work on the handle, we want to add some finer detail to create a more ergonomic grip. The control mesh we've defined is too coarse to add that detail. We can adjust the control mesh detail by switching to a finer mesh. And in this case, we can add more detail as we see fit. Again, making changes in Pro Engineer Wildfire to this type of geometry in this area here would have taken many features, many curves, and a lot of time. Once we're satisfied, we can then go back to the original mesh and still have the detail preserved. Creating and changing this geometry in Pro Engineer Wildfire is very time-consuming, and editing the shapes is difficult. And during concept design, when we're trying to quickly and easily iterate designs to explore alternatives, only Creo Parametric with Freestyle is the real choice. We've shown some of the key highlights in the new Freestyle command in Creo Parametric. The impact on design productivity is impressive. In this short comparison, I saved 92% of the time taken to achieve a similar result with Creo Parametric compared to Pro Engineer Wildfire.